Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast channel. I'm Shanto, your host, and joining me today is Sarah, our co-host.
Hi everyone. We're so excited to have you here with us. In today's episode, we're going to talk about 7 common mistakes English learners make and how to fix them.
Learning English can be challenging, and making mistakes is part of the process. But recognizing these mistakes and addressing them can make a big difference in your progress.
Absolutely. So, let's dive right in and discuss these common mistakes, and more importantly, how you can fix them.
Learners focus too much on grammar rules and forget to practice language use.
That's so true. While grammar is important, it's just one part of communication. When learners overthink grammar, it can make them hesitate when speaking or writing.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing rules, try learning grammar in context. For example, read or listen to sentences where the grammar is used naturally. This way, you can pay attention to patterns and practice using them in your sentences.
That's a great strategy. When you see grammar in real-life situations, it helps you understand how it works in a more meaningful way.
Right, and remember, it's perfectly okay to make mistakes. Making mistakes is part of the learning process. The more you practice, the more natural it will become.
Absolutely. So, don't let the fear of making mistakes hold you back. Just keep speaking, writing, and using English in your daily life, and you'll see improvement over time.
Another common mistake is avoiding speaking practice because of fear or lack of confidence.
Yes, this is something so many learners struggle with. They often feel nervous about making mistakes, mispronouncing words, or sounding silly, so they hold back from speaking. But avoiding speaking means missing out on one of the most effective ways to improve.
Exactly. The fix is simple. Start speaking as much as you can. Even if you don't have someone to talk to right away, you can practice by yourself. For example, describe your day out loud. Explain what you're doing while you're doing it, or imagine a conversation and respond to it. The goal is to get comfortable forming sentences and using English naturally.
And if you can find a speaking partner, that's even better. Use language exchange apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Speaky to connect with other learners or native speakers. These platforms are great because they provide a safe space to practice with people who understand what it's like to learn a new language.
Another tip is to start small. If speaking full sentences feels too intimidating, begin with short phrases or responses, and gradually work your way up. Over time, you'll notice that speaking becomes less scary and more enjoyable.
Absolutely. The key is to remember that fluency comes from practice, not perfection. Every time you speak, even if it's just a few sentences, you're one step closer to building confidence and becoming fluent. Mistakes are part of the process, so don't let the fear of them hold you back.
Relying on your native language to translate everything into English is a very common mistake. That can slow down your progress in learning the language. It might feel like an easy way to understand new words or phrases, but it often creates unnecessary hurdles.
That's so true. Constantly translating every word or sentence in your head not only slows you down, but also leads to awkward or unnatural sentences. It's hard to develop fluency if your brain is always switching back and forth between two languages. Plus, it makes it much harder to think directly in English, which is a crucial skill for becoming fluent.
The best way to overcome this is to try associating English words and phrases directly with their meanings or concepts, rather than using your native language as a bridge. For example, when you learn a word like apple, don't think of it as apple equals your native word. Instead, imagine an actual apple, its color, shape, taste, and feel. This way, the word connects directly to the concept in your mind.
Immersion is a fantastic way to reduce reliance on translation. Start watching English TV shows, movies, or videos with subtitles in English, or even no subtitles if you feel confident enough. This helps you see and hear how words are used in real-life contexts, which is much more effective than translating everything.
Another practical method is to label everyday objects around your home in English. For example, stick a note that says refrigerator on your fridge or mirror on your mirror. Each time you see the label, you'll reinforce the direct connection between the word and the object.
You can also try thinking in English during your daily activities. For instance, when you're planning your day, describe what you're doing or what you're about to do in English, even if it's just in your mind. It's okay if it's not perfect. The goal is to train your brain to process thoughts in English rather than translating them.
Exactly. The more you expose yourself to English and train yourself to think in the language, the more natural it will feel. It's a gradual process, but with consistent practice, you'll notice that you rely less and less on your native language and start thinking directly in English.
And remember, this is an important step toward fluency. So be patient with yourself and keep immersing yourself in the language. Over time, you'll find that using English becomes much easier and more intuitive.
Ignoring pronunciation is a common mistake many learners make. They focus heavily on vocabulary and grammar but often neglect the way words should sound when spoken.
Absolutely. Pronunciation is crucial because even if your grammar is flawless, poor pronunciation can make it hard for others to understand your words. It's a key part of effective communication.
To improve your pronunciation, start by listening carefully to native speakers. Pay attention to the way they stress certain words, their intonation, and how they connect sounds. Try to mimic their pronunciation as closely as possible. Tools like YouTube videos or apps like Forvo are fantastic resources for hearing how native speakers pronounce words.
That's a great tip. Another strategy is to practice speaking slowly and clearly. Rushing through words can lead to mispronunciations, so take your time at first. As you build confidence, your speed and accuracy will naturally improve.
And don't forget to record yourself. Listening to your voice can help you identify areas that need improvement. Over time, with consistent effort, your pronunciation will become much more natural.
Remember, perfect pronunciation isn't about sounding exactly like a native speaker. It's about being clear and understandable. So, keep practicing and celebrate every bit of progress you make.
Many learners make the mistake of memorizing long lists of vocabulary without putting the words into context. While this might feel productive, it's not the most effective way to retain new words.
Exactly. When you don't actively use the words you've learned, it's easy to forget them. Vocabulary needs to be connected to real-life usage to truly stick in your mind.
To solve this, focus on learning words you'll use in your daily life or interests. Instead of just memorizing, practice using the words. Create sentences, use them in conversations, or write them in a journal. For example, if you learn the word delicious, write something like, "This pizza is delicious."
Another great tip is to group vocabulary by themes or categories, like food, travel, or work. This makes it easier to remember words and use them in meaningful contexts. For instance, learning passport, ticket, and luggage together can help you when talking about travel.
And don't forget to review regularly. Revisiting words you've learned and using them in different contexts strengthens your memory and helps you build confidence.
Incorporating new words into your daily life is the key to turning vocabulary into a practical tool for communication. So, practice often, and make it a fun part of your learning journey.
Some learners tend to focus only on reading and writing, completely skipping listening practice. This can make it difficult to understand spoken English, especially in real-life conversations where people speak quickly or use slang.
That's so true. Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's essential for improving your comprehension and picking up the natural intonation, rhythm, and flow of English. Without regular listening practice, it's easy to feel lost in conversations, even if your grammar and vocabulary are strong.
The solution: make listening a daily habit. Start with simple and clear materials like beginner-friendly podcasts, audiobooks, or YouTube videos with subtitles. Gradually challenge yourself with faster, more complex content as your skills improve.
And don't just listen passively. Active listening is the key to faster improvement. For example, try pausing the audio to repeat phrases or sentences out loud. This helps you work on pronunciation and speaking rhythm while improving your listening.
Another great exercise is transcription. Write down what you hear. This forces you to focus on every word and trains your brain to process spoken English more accurately.
Remember, the goal is not just to hear the words, but to understand and engage with them. By practicing regularly and actively, your listening skills will improve significantly, making real-life communication much easier and more enjoyable.
Our final mistake that many learners make is comparing their progress to others. This habit can lead to feelings of discouragement or frustration.
Absolutely. It's important to recognize that everyone learns at their own pace. When you constantly compare yourself to others, it can create unnecessary pressure and make you feel like you're not making enough progress.
Instead of looking at what others are doing, focus on your own journey. Set personal goals that are meaningful to you and track your progress. For example, celebrate small achievements, like mastering a new phrase, completing a chapter in a book, or successfully having a conversation in English.
That's a great point. Each step forward is significant, no matter how small it may seem. Learning a language is a personal journey, and what matters is that you're moving forward in a way that works for you.
Exactly, and remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, patience, and consistent effort. Embrace the process, enjoy the little victories, and don't be too hard on yourself.
By cultivating a positive mindset and appreciating your progress, you'll find it easier to stay motivated and enjoy the journey of learning English. Let's learn some vocabulary related to today's topic.
The first word is hesitate. Hesitate is a verb that means to pause before you do or say something, often because you are uncertain or nervous about it. For example, she hesitated slightly before answering the detective's question. The second word is reinforce. Reinforce is a verb that means to make something stronger. For example, the pockets on my jeans are reinforced with double stitching. The third word is intonation. Intonation is a noun that means the sound changes produced by the rise and fall of the voice when speaking, especially when this has an effect on the meaning of what is said. For example, the end of a sentence that is not a question is usually marked by falling intonation. The fourth word is mimic. Mimic is a verb that means to copy the way in which a particular person usually speaks and moves, usually in order to make people laugh. For example, she was mimicking the various people in our office. The fifth word is review. Review is a verb that means to think or talk about something again, to make changes to it or to make a decision about it. For example, he reviewed his options before making a final decision. The sixth word is embrace. Embrace is a verb that means to accept something enthusiastically. For example, this was an opportunity that he would embrace. So, those are the 7 common mistakes English learners make and how to fix them.
We hope this episode helps you identify and overcome these challenges in your learning journey.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss out on future episodes. If you found this helpful, share it with your friends who are also learning English.
Thanks for listening, and as always, happy learning.
Bye.
Bye.